In some Chicago neighborhoods, you can go to the grocery store or the grocery store. One full-service supermarket after another, sometimes just blocks apart. In other Chicago neighborhoods, the food store options look a little different. A lot different, actually. Not a lot of full service, not a lot of anything.
You don't have any vegetable or fruits?
Well, we had a cooler, but it broke.
No meat.
No meat. No Jules, no Dominick's, but plenty of mom and pop places that sell plenty of chips and candy.
So you go through those pretty fast.
Yes, and also the soda.
That and the booze. Lots of alcohol, but little else. A virtual food desert.
The Chicago food desert has a little over 600,000 residents, and the vast majority are African American.
A third are children. More than 100,000 are single mothers.
Most of the food is, fried, high salt, high fat, sugary, very little in terms of nutritional content.
Mari Gallagher's research and consulting group has published 2 major studies on the subject.
In some of the communities in Chicago, a pineapple is considered exotic.
For at least 20% of all Chicagoans, the nearest full-service grocery store is twice as far as the nearest fast food restaurant.
If it's where you're getting your food day in, day out, your health over time will suffer.
But how barren is the food desert really? Fox Chicago has pinpointed the locations of the 16 largest or best-known grocery stores and supermarkets that sell fresh food, including fruit, vegetables, dairy, meats, and grains. There are more than 100 such stores within the city limits. For starters, take a look at the far northwest side of the city and you'll find 4 Dominick's, 2 Happy Foods, a Whole Foods, and an Aldi. Also on the north side, there are 6 major grocery stores between West Foster and West Irving Park Roads, including 2 Jules and 2 Aldis. There are nearly 24 stores in the Lakeview and Lincoln Park neighborhoods, including 3 Treasure Islands, 3 Whole Foods, and 4 Dominick's. And between North Avenue and Roosevelt Road, west of the Kennedy, we count at least 14 major stores. But move west, and all of a sudden the number of grocery outlets with a full array of healthy foods begins to drop precipitously. And then there's the south side. This might look like a load of markets, but this area represents more than 40 square miles. And full-service grocers are actually few and far between.
There was nothing there.
Felina Bunn grew up in the Southside food desert.
You really have to take like half a day to leave your neighborhood and go shopping.
So instead, like many other young people here, Felina spent her teens and her 20s eating junk. Only junk.
I'll go to a place that was right across the way and have a piece of puff or a burger or some fries and a lot of soda. I didn't try to find healthier choices until I had problems with my blood pressure. My dialysis will finish in 30 minutes. By the time I found out my kidneys were failing, it was just way too late. I did so much damage that it was pretty much irreversible.
It is really unbelievable.
Courtney Nicholas of the American Kidney Fund says Felina's story is similar to thousands of others in Chicago. In fact, she says new research by the fund indicates a definite correlation between the city's food deserts and kidney disease.
The highest rates of kidney failure are on the west and the south sides of the city.
In fact, in this part of the West Side food desert, as much as 55% of everyone who lives here now has stage 2 kidney disease.
And there are thousands of those who have high blood pressure and diabetes.
The Kidney Fund made the same correlation in this South Side area. More than half of all the residents here are beginning to see their kidneys fail as well.
It's really an epidemic.
Mari Gallagher's research also shows food desert residents have higher rates of diet-related cancers and heart disease.
It's a critical issue to the city.
But city leaders say enticing major grocery chains into the food deserts isn't always easy, even with tax incentives.
They're really looking at their bottom line to determine if they go into this particular location, is it going to work for them? Are they going to have a profit?
The city points to some recent successes. A new Jewel on the south side, Pete's Produce on the near west side. Changes that have technically helped move some 23,000 Chicagoans out of a food desert. Fox Chicago asked these other major grocers if they had plans to open stores in the desert areas. All said no, or no comment.
Oh, look at this, cigarettes, ice cream.
But Mari Gallagher suspects it's actually the federal government that might be inhibiting change. She says many of the more than 2,000 Chicago retailers approved by the USDA to accept food stamps are the mom and pop stores like these operating in food deserts.
The USDA says that the food stamp stores are supposed to be the first line of defense against malnutrition in the United States.
This is the list of stuff you're supposed to have in order to qualify.
Groceries from the 4 staple food groups.
You can't accept food stamps unless you have all these. That's the rule.
Meats and breads.
Does this sell well?
Fruits and dairy.
Maybe every 3 days take one milk.
That's it.
That's it. They're going to wait.
Okay, it's whole milk and skim milk, but I didn't see fat-free.
During our spot check of half a dozen of these stores in the food desert areas, clear-cut compliance was hard to come by.
You think it's hard to sell healthy foods here?
Healthy food, they never ask for it.
Why should those stores step up and offer healthier products if they don't have to, basically?